What's going on? Catch us on Wylion Mofo, Real Dumb Shit, and Redacted Shunt for the Twitter. On YouTube and on Facebook it's Official Wylion. Instagram is Wylion Official, and Mixcloud is Wylion RDS for all that dumb shit. What's going on? It's the one and only Shunt, and the only person that would ever be sat next to me while we're doing real dumb shit, Mr.
Redacted! What's going on, people?
Well, you know, that's kind of rhetorical because only me and you in the room.
Well, what's going on to you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit, I know. It's a bit long.
Yeah. I mean, I do take responsibility for my half of that.
Fair.
I mean, it wasn't 100% my fault.
It is.
But out of the two of us, it was my fault because I did accept the bet.
Yes. Could you please explain to people what the bet was and how productive it was for our production?
Okay, so my brother's a sadist. So when he realised how much I liked podcasts and podcasting...
So he saw the one joy, yeah?
Yeah, and he took that joy away.
Okay, how did he take it away?
He's like, oh, you like this stuff. Let's how about you do without it for a month?
See, this is the problem, like, because you're not really painting up the whole situation, which is the full exploitation of it all.
Yeah.
One, Redacted has gone through some financial issues.
Yeah,
and
Redacted is now unemployed.
I don't like the word unemployed. I find it derogative. It's like so you're something.
Redacted is currently looking for new opportunities in the workplace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Currently seeking new and fruitful opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, there's money out there. I just need to go get it.
Yeah. I agree. So the one way that you was looking to get it was by cutting off the one thing that could possibly supply you with some form of revenue in the future. Just saying.
Yeah, well, yeah, in the future. It wasn't doing it now, so I took the now money. I took the quick money rather than I waiting for the long money.
It's terrible.
Well, you know, look, partly it was that, and partly it was to prove a point. Like, he's acted like I couldn't not do something, and obviously I could, so I did it to prove him wrong. Even though I knew his side of the, like, argument or his point of view was stupid.
Yeah, it was. But he won. Basically, he won. No matter what you do.
He lost.
No, he won.
He lost money.
No, we lost money because I was unable to do a month's worth of podcasting. That's like 4 hour long shows of content down the drain for a measly pittance, sir.
Agreed. But, you know, it's...
I mean, I forgive you now.
I had to do it.
It's been a month since
I had to represent, bruv.
But as a result, like...
I had to represent.
I've had to, like, rehash old episodes in order to keep the content sort of moving. I mean, like, potentially everyone's waiting for
but not really.
number 2. even though, like, we're on, like, 50 odd at the moment. Yeah. Actually, no, I think we're in 60s now.
Yeah, maybe.
That's crazy. Anyway, Shunt's now sort of, like, taken over. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, one of the things that they've actually been concentrating on at the moment is Project Ice Cream.
I knew you was going to say that.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
This is an off-air conversation, bro.
No, it's not off-air. It's not off-air. Basically, there's three ideas. Like, I'm not going to say what they are at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just basically, introducing the premise of what Project Ice Cream is going to be this time round. Basically, it's 3 projects. One's going to be a game, one's going to be a movie, and the other's going to be a TV series. Each. So the idea is that we're coming up with the premises of these things, and the good news for you guys is that it's going to be fully interactable in regards to if you're into the creative arts and stuff. So what's going to happen is that we're going to do said project, which is Project Ice Cream, and then we're going to throw it out into the wilderness of the internet, and then we want you guys to basically act out scenes and then tag us in them. That's all we want. We want the Wylion brand. We want you guys to be creative with it, and it saves on a lot of production, I guess. Because some people like to film stuff, and that's all they've got time for. They haven't got time to write and stuff like that. We've got time to write, but we haven't got time to film stuff. You film stuff, we write, we collab, we make money. Project Ice Cream.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the idea anyway. So, those 3 projects, 6 projects, because it's one from sort of like, I'm working with Bradley, so it's like, it's going to be Shunt and Bradley, and it's going to be Redacted and Jermaine, and we're going to collab, and these ideas are just basically going to be flowing out in the internet, so you can see those ideas sometime in January, I guess, because they will be like, a bit more tasty, a little bit more meat on the bones around that time. Because right now, I mean, it's just framework. Like, we've got ideas and stuff like that. So we've established our 3 ideas, and then now we're going to expand on them, and we're going to take the Wylion network's sort of like presence on the internet to push those ideas forward.
Yeah.
So you're going to be seeing a little bit more of these ideas next week and the week after. Little tidbits, just a little taster, and then whammo, everything out at once.
Yes.
I guess. So yeah, there's that. So
should be good.
Dumb shit. All right. Yeah, you guys have had a free pass for 2 months, Entertainment World, and we've been very patient in regards to just sort of kind of ignoring it, but not actually ignoring it. I mean, we haven't even touched on the Joker. We haven't even touched on Terminator. Yeah. We haven't even touched on all this Marvel madness. We haven't even touched on Disney Plus. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we don't even get it till March. We're just fucked, bruv.
Well, needless to say, when we get Disney Plus, we get Disney Plus.
Yeah. I'm
not really fussed about it because there are online means of actually watching. Like, basically, you have to register your. You're probably gonna have to cut this shit out, but if you really want to get American stuff, you have to register VPN-wise.
Why are you making stuff for me to cut out? Just don't say it.
What do you mean? I'm just saying.
Just don't say it. Why are you making stuff for me to cut out?
We can playfully dance around the whole VPN thing because some people have got them as their sponsors. So we're alright on that. I'm just saying, as long as it's your credit card and you're paying for said service, you can get said service. However, you do have to put in 91210 or something like that, Beverly Hills, or you just have to know an address. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people that use the White House for a lot of their VPN bullshits.
Great.
Yeah, it's just when they call him Mr. Obama over the phone, it's like it's a bit peak. Although Obama doesn't live there no more, so it's even worse.
Yeah. No, it's better because they'd be like, well, that was the smart old address.
Sorry, it's my old address. Yeah. Where are you living now? Ha, that's classified.
Occupant no longer lives here.
Yeah. Where I live now is classified. Public domain and all that. Love it. Just have to learn how to speak like Obama. Which I don't think I can do. Yet.
Okay. Just work on it. Yeah. Work on it. Go back with it next week.
Go work on my Obama accent.
Yeah.
My Obama accent. So, needless to say, you've got all of that. So, rabbit out of a hat. Let's talk about some shit. Any dumb shit to report, sir?
No.
Have you heard about this Shiro / Blue Story / View Cinema riot?
Yes.
What is your opinion on that?
Which part?
All of it?
Do I think they should have stopped showing it?
Then they haven't. I mean, it's already developed. So they stopped showing it for 2 days. Then they said,
put it back on.
Then they put it back on. But every single how can I put this? Any cinema of View that is in the hood is now got security on the door, just in case it kicks off over this film.
It's fair.
It's not really.
It is. I mean, if you're...
You don't see Westside Story freaking...
yeah, but Westside Story is not causing people to start fighting.
I don't know. I reckon it did.
No.
I reckon that knife fight must have been a new thing for people to do. Yeah, people tying hands and then having a knife fight. That was new. That was fresh.
Well, when the new one comes out next year, we'll be able to tell. Is it next year or this year? Whenever it comes out, you'll be able to...
I don't know.
We'll be able to see if your claims are true.
Well, we watched a little clip of it, and it was diabolical. So
yeah, well, it's not going to happen. But yeah, if security is needed in a place, then a place should get security.
I don't know. I think the whole thing was blown out of proportion. Have you seen Shara's story?
I don't need to see it.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, to be fair, it's just an extended music video with Man Them on the Wall in it. That's it. That's all you're watching. Really, you're just watching a serious Man Them on the Wall episode.
Yeah.
You know, with this guy rapping in between.
Yeah, but that part is almost irrelevant. It's not. That's not.
No,
the
that's
part
what I'm saying.
that's
Shara's story is irrelevant to.
Yeah, that part is not the issue. Obviously, the case is like this particular film is attracting these kids, and like it's a place where they're all together, and some of them don't like each other. It's not specifically the film that's causing the fight. It's the fact that you're grouping these kids together.
Well, these kids are deciding to meet up in the same venues. Because, well, this is the thing as well.
It depends. I mean, I would think it's more the case that it's like, yeah, it's Friday night or whatever. You and your boys are going to the cinema, and you see other boys that you don't like, or they're not from your ends, or whatever, and it's starting a fight. I
mean, I'm not too sure of what, because I haven't seen Blue Story yet.
Again, that part is irrelevant.
No, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know whether or not it's better for the film to have, say, a Q&A section.
Why? It wouldn't make a difference.
No, but not with, how can I put it? Not with the directors and all that, but with, you know, community leaders or former gang members, if that makes sense.
It wouldn't make a difference.
No, the only reason why I say that is because, one, you've got all of these kids in one area. Yeah. You could target a positive message all at the same time. With all them being there, they're already interested in this sort of street life, as it were. Yeah. And then, you know, you can have somebody there to counterbalance it. Fair enough, it will be voluntary, and maybe all the kids will bounce. But it will be a case of having that there, and it'll be more of a positive impact.
I don't think it's the right place. Like, maybe if there was like...
They done it with, was it Yardi? They done it with Yardi.
The Idris Elba one?
Yeah, Idris Elba. Like, Idris Elba basically went into certain cinemas in the ghetto, and I say the ghetto, it's not really a ghetto here, it's like, it's weird. Yeah. But, you know, the hood, as it were. He went into a couple of cinemas, and then there was a live Q&A via an online stream, and people were basically able to ask questions about it. And then, obviously, you know, he's talking about the whole Yush and all that stuff, like, you know, the whole Yardi trilogy. And obviously it may well get made into a...
I think that's slightly different.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Because it was a film, it should have been treated like a film that is made by black people. I assume it's black people that directed and produced it. I assume. Yeah. It's probably a wrong assumption. It's probably an urban effort, as it were. That's what you call it when a white guy runs the whole thing. Got a little bit political there, but it's fine. But yeah, like, that's what you call it in regards to sort of like... I don't know. Like, personally, I believe it only got out of hand because there wasn't any real community leaders there. There wasn't enough connection.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have to be.
No. But with a film like this, you kind of have to be. Because even with Boys in the Hood, they had, like, you know, John Singleton basically went there with a couple sort of like, you know, former Crip members and Blood members and stuff like that. Yeah. And they done that whole Q&A thing in America. However, in the UK, it's not really relevant. But because in the UK, this is something that kind of affects the youths more closely, it should have been treated more...
What's a youth?
What's a youth? A youth.
You know what that's from?
I can't remember.
My cousin Vinny.
Oh, yeah. Yes. A youth.
Yeah, no, sorry, God.
Yeah, it's fine. See, that's ironic because you're actually from an ethnic descent.
Yeah.
We're not revealing that much. But Redacted is from an ethnic descent, and he was quoting from Cousin Vinny, a film about an Italian mobster / wise guy /
I mean, maybe he was. Like, I'm not sure if he was actually in the mob, but like he was like basically that Italian American stereotype, but he was a lawyer.
Yeah. So yeah,
excellent film. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
And it's actually law accurate as well. That's
yeah, it is. I watched I've been watching a bit of, I think the guy's channel is Legal. He's basically a lawyer who like critiques law
interpretation into film,
in film and TV. And
Cousin Vinny is the only
he
one.
liked that episode. It was very like that was one of the most accurate ones he's seen.
It's quite like bizarre as well that you can actually learn from a film.
And you should be able to. It's art. Like you should be able to. It's not. This is what annoys me about my brother. Like he is so closed-minded. Like you can't learn from like TV or films, and it's like you're
okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate because I don't like speaking about him because I haven't met him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm like treading on toes and shit. But in theory, is your brother of academic standing?
What? Like did he go to uni and stuff?
Yeah.
No.
Has he got any books or novels under his keep?
What that he's written?
Yeah.
No.
Does he have any contribution to society that is of relevance?
Possibly.
Does he have his own business?
Sort of. Like a side business.
We're not including drugs.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't do drugs.
No.
That's good. So, in theory, my whole thing is this: if somebody has credence, i.e., they have notability within a certain genre, they can critique that genre. Everything else is noise.
I would disagree.
How?
Okay, for example, a very recent example, Martin Scorsese. He's a filmmaker. He's recently rubbished the Marvel films, or like comic book films. But just because you make films, it doesn't mean you're the authority on all film.
Of course not. But that's an opinion. The whole thing is an opinion. Because I watched The Irishman recently.
Yeah.
Fucking excellent film.
Fair. I mean, look, no one's saying Martin Scorsese can't make a film, but you don't get to decide what enjoyment people
You're
get
not a taste
from
maker.
other films. Yeah, exactly.
You're not a taste
like
maker. But it doesn't exist in
your
film,
taste. Exactly. The same thing. Like, the same thing. Like I was watching, probably like Screen Junkies or something, and someone said like the same thing. Like someone else could come along who doesn't like Martin Scorsese films, and just because they say like just because it's not their taste, it doesn't make them bad films. It's you're making opinion, but you're posing your opinion as fact or as what should be rule.
But this is the entire thing. It's the League of Outrage, as I like to call it. People that pick up, like people with ADHD. I'm going to say it now. People with ADHD and all these other problems that pick up shit and then blog about it, and then they pull it on as if this is verbatim. This is what he's saying, and then they're posting it out. And the worst thing about people with ADHD, they're very, 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 very thorough in regards to posting shit nonsensically. Like bam, 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 bam. This is what I thought yesterday. This is what I think today. Bam, 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 bam. Still thinking about it. Bam, 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 bam.
Okay.
You need to know. You need to know. You need to know. You need to know. ADHD in it. So, and when that happens, it then becomes part of our newsfeed in some shape or form because it's trending or it's, which I think is just an irrelevant sort of like. This is another thing that pissed me off about the internet recently. Trending. What is trending?
No.
It's not trending, really. It's like, how can I put it? Trending, the term trending, right? Which is basically something that is off the now, right? Something that has come up into everybody's, consciousness at the same time for it to be noticed.
Yeah.
Right? That being the theory. Things of relevance. Things of culture. Things of nuance.
Maybe.
Trending. Trending. This is now trending. This is trendy. This is the thing that everybody's after. Now, the problem with this concept of what is trending compared to what is now the internet is kind of coming to a head at the moment, because trending to me is something that, you know, is needed. So, like, before we used to have fads. Oh, it's a fad, it'll go out of time, blah, blah, blah. Now, trending is literally a whimsical 40 seconds of your Twitter feed. Like, you see what's trending. I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. I see what's trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then I get on with my life. You know, very nonchalant, casual bag. Oh.
What is your issue with it?
My issue is this. It's not needed. It's not needed at all. Like, there's so much information out there at the moment that people want to put a tunnel vision focus on bullshit topics.
So is your issue that there's a tab for stuff that's trending on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever?
Yeah, because I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it.
Yeah,
before.
but you don't have to use it.
Yeah, I used to find out a lot more on Twitter and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you can still do that. It's for people. Yeah. It's for people who want to know what people are talking about or what people are watching now.
Yeah, public consensus.
Yeah, you don't have to take part in it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just,
if you don't like it, just don't use it.
Yeah, I mean, we're part of Wylion. I mean, by all means, you know what I mean. So that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. Plug. So yeah. So I disagree with the whole trending.
Great.
But saying that, one thing that pissed me off recently is Terminator Dark Fate.
Okay. Why?
How can it be a box office flop?
Because it lost money.
Because it lost money.
End of conversation.
I get that.
Full stop.
Full stop, underline. However, every other film that week sucked. And it still came up on number 1.
Doesn't matter. Basic economics. If you spend more than you've earned, you've made a loss.
But when it goes to this is the thing, when it goes to a streaming platform, I reckon it'll make money. I reckon it made 4 times its money back.
Possibly, but doubtful.
And then on top of that, they already had all the game sponsorships and all that stuff. You know, you got Terminator in freaking Mortal Kombat 11. You've got Terminator in fucking Gears of War. They've already made that equivalent.
Yeah, but you don't know that. You don't know how much they sold the license to for.
Maybe,
but you don't know what their marketing strategy was. Like, maybe they sold the licenses for cheap on the premise of they expect ticket sales. They expect that to translate into ticket sales. I don't particularly think like the people who are making Mortal Kombat were like, Dark Fate is coming out in like a year or a half or whatever.
No, because you've actually got.
Yeah, but I don't think they were like, oh yeah, let's make sure we get Terminator in our game, because like at the moment, Mortal Kombat is hotter than Terminator. Like, it's a hotter IP than Terminator, so they wouldn't have a need to do that.
Yeah, but
the same thing with Gears.
But the thing about Mortal Kombat is that the last one, Mortal Kombat X, had a lot of iconic horror characters.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah.
I think Mortal Kombat 9 had Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And then the second one had Leatherface, Predator, Alien,
Jason.
It's fucking crazy. That game is crazy.
I get that, but I don't think it would have made them as much money as you think. It still made a loss, and it's because people are just worn out on the franchise. We've seen too many dud Terminators.
But the thing that pissed me off was what Tim Miller was saying.
What about him arguing with James Cameron?
Yeah.
Why did that piss you off? If you've got two creative people in a room, like me and you, we don't always agree. A lot of times we disagree.
But it's like basically, there's two. Basically, if you've watched Terminator Dark Fate, great. If you haven't, turn off for the next 5 minutes, because I want you to watch the film, because I think it's actually good. Because right now we're going full blown spoilerage. Full blown. I mean, it's been out for like a couple of weeks. Probably by the time this comes out, about a month. Be fine. Now, Terminator Dark Fate, for me anyway, is the only successful, harmonious sequel to the second one that I've seen in years. It's the best Terminator since Terminator Judgment Day.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't really tell anyone anything. It's not like...
No.
If at least one of the other ones were good, it will give you like a bar, but because all of the other ones were so poor, you just saying like it's the best one since 2 doesn't really say anything. It doesn't really help.
Alright. So, premise of it, spot on. Kind of went back to Terminator 1 roots, where it's like going back to the past to save someone's ass. That's my whole sort of like thing.
Yeah, that's almost every Terminator, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, back to the past to save someone's ass. Now, the ideology of Tim Miller, he basically said they should be travelling back to kill Skynet. Now, James Cameron believes that they have done nothing but this route before.
Yeah.
They're always trying to kill Skynet. There's only so many times you can kill Skynet and me give a fuck about it.
Okay.
So they introduced this new caption, which is Legion. Now, Legion, the robots are actually kind of...
I don't really see a difference, to be fair.
Well, this is the thing. No difference.
Right, if that's your argument, like, oh, we've seen Skynet, like, they should go back to stop something else. Oh, Legion, okay.
Or Legion should go back. Now, my whole thing is this, right? The only way that the film could have been improved for me is... How can I put it? Empire Strikes Back. Something dark should have happened. Something dark did happen, but it's a bit too light and fluffy for me. Now, one thing I think should have been like a knee-jerk thing is when said reveal of said lady who saves the world has been revealed, and Linda Hamilton and said other lady are popping back to see how she's getting on in IRL, in real life, because technically the future hasn't been set, blah blah blah, and it's all jello and all that shit. So the only way that I reckon that should have like ended, which I reckon would have fucked up everything, is if Linda Hamilton is forced to go through the same thing with her child in that particular moment.
Well,
basically, they should have gone back, seen the little female Carl Reese, because I can't remember her actual name. That's another problem about the film. I can't remember even if their name's Danny, maybe, but that's about it. Yeah. So Danny and Sarah going back to see. Was it Grace?
Grace was the one that came back to save Danny.
That is her name, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grace came back. Now Grace is growing up at said time, so there's 2 Graces going round. Personally, what I reckon should have been a bit... I mean, it's a no-brainer if you're a computer. If a problem, such as a future cyborg, comes back to fuck up a Terminator, one way of actually showing how ruthless these Terminators are is he will change his plan once he gets there, and rather than going after the big Grace, you should have gone after the younger Grace. Once he found out that she's here.
Disagree.
Why? Why do you disagree?
He doesn't know who she is. For him to go after the younger version of her, he has to know who she is.
Yeah, but he's got like... This is internet times, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Scan
he doesn't...
his face.
What?
Scan her face.
Yeah, but she would have looked different as a child.
Algorithms.
Why? Like, if he's there next to Danny, why spend time looking for Grace?
And he's got all of her blood on his hands after each time like they actually like beat up each other. DNA analysis. See who that person is on the databank. See if they exist in the same timeline. Go after that rascal. That's how I see it.
That's a lot of work.
It's not.
It's very convoluted.
It's not convoluted.
It is.
It's actually logical. That's how a computer would actually operate. If I can't recognise you by face, I'll recognise you by taste. You know what I mean?
I want to disagree.
Well,
I want to disagree.
Anyway, so my theory is this. Once you find out who this person is, or this person is like a direct threat, rather than him going after the adult versions, which are harder, go to the crib, innit? That's what a computer would do. A computer would nip it in the bud efficiently. Because that's what they've done with John Connor, and they went for him when he was young. He was vulnerable. Well, anyway, so Tim Miller was saying that they should have gone back to basically stop it. So they're basically killing Hitler in the crib, if that makes sense. That was the whole analysis of it all. Now, as convoluted as it sounds, that's the only element I would have taken. And then it would have added another, suspense element of, oh shit, these machines are deep, sort of thing.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, it depends.
I don't think so. I mean, it's already basically what they're doing. Like, it wouldn't have made them seem more of a threat. It would have just been another obstacle that you would have thrown out there that's unnecessary.
Yeah, and then there's another sort of element of, how can I put it? The only thing that I reckon would have been more interesting is if they went from the past to the future.
Why? Also, how? There's no time travel in their time.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's why they can't go to the future.
But they have like a boomerang device, whatever, time-wise. So they come back, they grab Linda Hammer and Danny. They then go to the future, and then she has to then lead the resistance.
As a child with no experience.
No, as an adult.
But she's not an adult. And there's already an adult version of who? Linda Hammer.
Yeah. So Linda Hammer gets taken into.
Yeah, but that's a bit pointless. Like, if you're trying to revitalize the franchise, you're not gonna put it solely on the back of someone who's 60-odd years old.
Really?
Yes, of course not. Why would you?
They've been doing it for ages anyway, so that's the reason why it's probably been made. How would you reckon?
They've been doing what?
How would you reckon?
Yeah, but he's not. Yeah, but most of the time he's not a main feature. Like the last couple of films that he was in, he's not a main feature. Alright, Genesis, yeah, alright. He was kind of a big part of that film. But in 3 and whatever the other one, Salvation.
There's another one in between.
Okay, 3, he is a big part. That's not the point. The point is that you don't want to do that. You want to build up people who can take the franchise forward. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I get that. I do. But then this is it. It's like, do we actually need another Terminator film? I reckon we should have got.
But you can say that about any film.
Yeah, but I reckon we should have got a spin-off Terminator franchise thing. So it should have been the case where.
Yeah, but I don't really think it's not.
Because personally, I don't believe that Skynet was the one thing that destroyed the world. The one Terminator film I reckon that they're missing is the corruption of man within that time.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not meant to be. Like, the whole thing is it's not meant to be like man is corrupt, so this happens. It's like man just continues on his way without thinking about the consequences of things. And, like, this is what happens. Like, this is the eventual outcome of pursuing, like, things that you wouldn't even, think. Like, oh, AI is fine. Like, it's going to be a helpful tool and blah, 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 blah. And then, like, out of that comes this thing that destroys you. It's not meant to be, like, one person's evil machinations that ends up ruining the world. It's, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
I mean, basically, for me, I believe that The Matrix was the spiritual successor of the Terminator, in some senses.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it explained that the robots became sentient.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is sort of like, I don't know, I preferred it when the Terminators were cold. If that makes sense.
They are cold.
No, but I mean like proper cold. Like they're literally not giving a fuck. Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 are the best Terminators for these reasons. Because it's just machine-like efficiency. And it was...
They're all cold.
No.
Which ones are not cold?
This new one's...
Well, no, I'd say
fluffy.
Genesis was the warmest one. Because he was John Connor and he had a personality and he was cracking jokes. But all the rest of them have been cold. Like, that's not the issue. The issue is, you know, we've had 3 or 4 bad films. People are just like, I've had enough. Like, why am I keep going into the cinema to get punched in the face?
Yeah, bloody knows. And why would you want to be abused over Netflix?
Exactly.
See, this is the thing. I reckon that this new Terminator should just been released on Netflix. Or a streaming platform. It shouldn't have gone to cinema.
Yeah, but then they would have made no money.
No.
Not no money, but like, you still need it to come out in the cinema to make the bulk of your money back. What they should have done is spent less money. If they spent less money, then possibly they would have made a profit.
Possibly. And I reckon it would have been a better film.
Possibly.
Because a lot of the stuff, I mean, is pretty much... It feels like Venom goop on goop.
Possibly, but obviously you can't...
Like, that's how
you can't guarantee people going to see it if they spent less money. But the one thing you could guarantee is if they spent less money, they would have made more. Like, more of it would have been profitable. It might have been profitable.
I don't know. I mean, there's no knowing. I mean, all we can do is deal with the facts, right?
Yeah.
So, whatever reason, like, I believe a lot of confusion was around the release of the film as well. I thought it was going to be more of a summer release. I reckon it would have done a lot better in the summer.
No way. No way. It would have made less money.
Yeah, I reckon it would have been alright.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Why would it?
Well, basically, it's like, if you're in a cinema and you see I mean, like, for me, yeah, you have to, like, think of the, like, every Terminator film I've watched in the cinema has been released during the summer.
Maybe. I mean, I couldn't say you are 100% correct, but I couldn't say you're incorrect.
So, you know, Rise Machines I watched in the cinema in the summer, and Salvation I waited until Christmas. I watched it on Sky Box Office, I think. Sky. It's a Sky thing. Yeah. And I watched... That was like literally straight to DVD sort of vibes I got from that.
Okay.
So, yeah. It was real quick. I remember it being real quick to like DVD or Blu-ray or downloadable stuff. And then, yeah. Yeah, that's just... It's been quite depressing watching. Oh, yeah, Genesis was released. Actually, Genesis was released in winter, I think. So,
maybe.
No, I think it was. It was like a Christmas film. So, no, that's weird. I didn't watch it Terminator over Christmas. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the thinking probably was like, we'll release it when, you know, there's not so much competition, and, you know, they have a better chance of people going to see it. That's probably what they thought. If you release it in the summer, like, summer's packed. There's bunch of films.
And that's another thing as well. I mean, like, to quote Martin Scorsese, if you were to sort of like say the way that Marvel are ruining cinema is no one wants to watch anything else during that summer.
Yeah, but that's like saying, like, you're ruining stuff because people like what you're making. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's what James Cameron said, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's stupid. You can't complain. You can't complain about that.
And that's another reason I reckon that this one flopped, because of those Marvel comments that James Cameron...
I don't think so.
I reckon.
I don't think so. No one's thinking about that shit. Most of the people that went to go see it probably didn't even know he said anything.
I knew he said it, and I still watched it. But then saying...
Are you most of the people that go to see it, or are you one person?
I don't know. I have to assume that I have some form of view of the majority, because...
Why?
Because I was a fan of the Terminator when I was growing up.
Yeah, but you're not the majority.
As I'm saying, I'm one of the majority.
You can't be, because you saw it, and obviously that's the minority of people. If the majority of people saw it, then it would have been profitable.
I get that.
So you're definitely in the minority.
I guess. So are you.
Yeah, I know.
Stop putting this shit on me.
I'm not. But you're saying, oh, I knew, so other people must have known. It's like, no, that's silly. Like you are on a podcast talking about movie stuff, so by definition, you should know more than the average person.
I do, but
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But I don't like saying it out loud because an average person, might see that.
Yeah, but it's not like it's not arrogance. It's just common sense.
It's not common
like
sense.
you should.
No, because if you look at me, you don't know I know as much as I do.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
The only reason why I know as much as I do is because I used to work in retail.
Matter.
Like,
It doesn't matter what you look like. No one can see what you look like.
Yeah, no. I am literally a voice in someone's
exactly.
Yeah. I get that. Anyway,
do you?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. So, Terminator, I reckon we'll put a nail in the head of it, as it were.
Yeah, I think they put their own nail in there.
No, I'm just saying, just as a subject, because we can talk about it all day, but the point is, we've got other shit to talk about. So, yeah. Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Disney Plus. Yeah. Are we excited? Kind of. Are there problems? Yeah. What else?
What?
Disney Plus wise. Any concerns? Any grievances?
Not really. I don't have it, so how am I supposed to know?
Well, basically, all I've been hearing is that, Disney Plus are doing everything that Netflix doesn't.
Like what?
It was a vague article, to be fair. It was sort of like what you...
Did you read it, or did you just read the headlines?
I read the headline, I skimmed through the top part of it. Basically, they just said something about, they have the whole series. Of course they're going to have the whole series because they own the property. It's like fucking, something that Fox basically takes on.
Yeah.
And then puts on Hulu.
Yeah.
So everything that Fox makes is on Hulu, apart from Arrested Development, obviously, which I've actually been getting into.
You've been getting into what?
Arrested Development.
Okay.
Have you completed said new series?
Of Arrested Development? No.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to try and do Curb Your Enthusiasm afterwards as well.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah, it's good.
It is. Then I might watch Ozark.
Yeah, I still need to watch that.
Yeah, it's fucking lame. So, is your mum finished?
Is that on Disney Plus?
What, Ozark?
Yeah.
No.
Why are you talking about it then? I thought you were talking about Disney Plus.
I'm just saying, it's a streaming service. Anyway, so Disney Plus. Manadlorian, great. Baby Yoda, blowing up on the internet. Boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. Although, technically, I don't think it is Baby Yoda. I think it's another Yoda, yeah?
But it's a baby, so...
It's a Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. That's what we call it.
Yeah, I mean... What else you meant to call it?
Was there like a chick Yoda in...
Yaddle. What else were you meant to... What else you meant to call it?
Chick Yoda.
Yeah, but we don't know what it is.
No, but what's the name of the race?
We don't know. That's why people are calling it Baby Yoda. It's never been revealed.
It's fucked up. Goblin. He's a goblin, bro. That's it.
Maybe.
So, do you reckon that there was a meeting and they said, so, we've got a solution to any form of doubts within the Mandalorian's plot and the actors that are in it? If all else fails, we're just going to reveal the Baby Yoda.
What?
You know what I'm saying? That must have come up in a meeting. Because it doesn't seem like it's part of the necessary universe.
I mean, it is. It's the whole story, so I don't think it's like an add-on like you're describing it. Like, it's the whole story. Like, that is the story. That is his call to action. Like, it's not like he was doing stuff and then it was like, oh look, here's a Baby Yoda, don't watch the other stuff that we're doing. It's like that's his story. Like, that's what's happening.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I'm only seeing the first half hour of episode 1.
Episode 1 is only half an hour.
And then I think I have them.
Well, okay, that's why you don't know, but it's the whole story.
So they're just basically going after this one Yoda.
For now, yeah.
Just one Baby Yoda.
For now, yeah.
That's mad. So like little Baby Yoda people. That's what I'm gonna call them. Baby Yoda people. Yoderies. Yoda.
Why are you making it more complicated?
I'm just saying. So the Yodai, which are, you know, I assume, you know, a race of people that are very powerful within the Force.
Maybe it's just a few specific ones.
Maybe that's just Dave.
Yeah, maybe.
Baby Dave.
Yeah.
Pain. Anyway, so Disney Plus has obviously got Star Wars stuff. It's got all of the old animations as well. So you've got Spider-Man animated series, all the stuff that used to come on Fox Kids as well. So X-Men.
Yep.
I found out the other day that Disney owns Saban, and Saban is the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So Disney owns everything.
Yeah.
How the fuck can that happen? So basically, if Disney wanted, they can have Marvel versus Power Rangers versus Star Wars versus Gargoyles versus... Basically, they can do what the fuck they want, really. There's too many IPs.
Yeah, but that would be stupid.
Well, Saban, I mean, isn't Saban... But basically, I watched another thing on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us.
Oh, did you see that they're coming out with a new series? That's the movies that made us.
Yes.
Very excited for that. I haven't seen Toys That Made Us yet. I need to jump on it. I know, everyone tells me it's good.
It's good.
But movies that made us, that's going to be my shit.
I don't know. The movies
that's
that
going to be
got,
my shit.
They haven't really... I mean, like, depends. It depends.
On
it depends
what?
Depends on how it's done. Like, the movies that made us can only be as good as the interviews with the directors and all that stuff. And that's the only thing I'll be watching it for. And if you're familiar with the way that...
No. Well, okay. I'm probably the wrong person to say this because I haven't seen the Toys That Made Us yet.
Yes, you are.
But I would imagine that you would interview, like... Yeah, okay, you would try and get the directors of these specific movies, but you'd also try and get directors or actors of, like, stuff that were just influenced by these other films.
Yeah. That's how the Toys That Made Us.
That's what I'm saying. That's how I imagine it would be. So that even if you can't get the specific director of, like, whatever, Goonies or whatever, but you still have, like, actors...
Actually, I don't think Goonies is in the first lot.
I don't give a shit as a fucking example. I don't fucking know.
I mean, Goonies would be fucking great.
Dude, it was just an example.
Monster Squad as well.
Don't make me slap you.
What do you mean?
Oh, do you not know what a slap is?
What do you mean? What do you mean, slap?
It's backhand, bruv. Let's clean...
Do you know what slap actually means?
What?
Sounds like a plan.
No.
Yes. Sounds like a plan. So every time anybody says slap, I think, alright, sounds like a plan.
Okay, you keep thinking that, bruv.
Sounds like a plan.
You keep thinking that.
Sounds like a plan.
Good. Backhand, bruv.
Backhand. I don't know the nomination for that, but that's terrible.
Yeah, it's not.
Anyway. Yeah, Monster Squad's great, bruv. I don't know what your problem is.
I don't have a problem. I'm just saying, like, why are you nitpicking an example? Oh, they're not doing that film. It doesn't matter.
It does.
It doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't. That's what an example is. In any case...
Yeah.
Without your nonsense.
You're being pedantic.
I'm on it. No, you are clear. You are being pedantic.
You're being pedantic.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Anyway. Yeah, continue. Whatever you're saying.
No. You're saying the movies that made us and blah, blah, blah.
No, I'm just saying I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I digress anyway. So in regards to the things that Netflix offers and all that stuff, they offer sort of like all of these sort of like kind of cool sort of shows, like to watch. Whereas I don't know whether or not Disney Plus has got those types of shows.
Well, they got that Goldblum show.
Yeah, but that's just cheating. That's just cheating.
I mean, that's what they did.
That's cheating.
That's what they did. And I'm sure, like they'll find other stuff. Like, I mean, they'll probably do stuff with National Geographic. Their shows like that will probably be on like National Geographic.
The one thing I reckon I would really be compelled and nearly obsessed in watching is Goldblum doing a show where he reviews his own films. That film's
Maybe.
I would be obsessed.
Maybe.
I mean, just to hear what he had to say when he's doing The Fly, that would have been. I would be obsessed.
Possibly.
I'd be obsessed. So, the things that I was going through with that performance, oh God, I'll be obsessed. You have me in a room with Jeff Goldblum talking about The Fly. I'm not leaving.
Could you do that? I mean, yeah. I mean, they might be able to do that.
I mean, The Fly 2 you can fuck right off, but Fly 1.
Actually, but they wouldn't be able to do that.
What, The Fly?
No, well, they wouldn't be able to do any films they don't own.
No, they can.
I don't think so.
I think you can. It's like fair use, isn't it? That's what you can argue.
No, but I think you're crossing the line if you get the person that was actually in the film. I think that, like, you could argue it's basically like a commentary. And if you actually have the person that's in the film, that's got to be crossing the line.
I don't think it is.
That's got to be crossing the line.
Because actors can do it when they do plays.
Plays?
Yeah. So I'm Hamlet.
Yeah.
It's a role.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't really matter. I mean, back in the 80s, I would agree with you. But right now, it's like anyone could do the role. Anyone. Not as good, not as well.
It's not a role. It's not a role.
Yeah.
You want him to review his own movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's crossing the line.
Yeah, but it's Jeff Goldblum. You can only do it with Jeff Goldblum.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, you don't have to show clips of the film, just show Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, but then what's the... No, I don't think people will watch that.
I would be obsessed. I'll be obsessed. Obsessed. Tall guy, what's the other one? What was that rant?
It'd be like
two
episodes and you'd be done.
No. It'll be The Fly.
Especially if
Jurassic
they're not showing
Park.
any clips. If they're not showing any clips, you're done. Most people will be done after two episodes.
Yeah. You couldn't have a full monologue.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but it's Jeff Goldblum. You can watch that guy all day.
Even this show that they're talking about, I'm thinking like 2 episodes and I'm probably done.
I don't know. So what is the premise of Goldblum?
He just goes and looks at stuff and sees how it's made and what it's all about or whatever. As far as I know, obviously I haven't seen it, but as far as I know,
I'll probably have to watch it to see.
It's that.
But then I've also recently, in your absence of podcasting, I've also.
I mean, you say that, but there's it was only 4 weeks.
It was only 4 weeks.
We've been gone for longer than that. Plus, there's stuff that you haven't posted, so stop throwing me under the bus.
I'm throwing you under the bus. But yeah. Yeah, obviously it's a long gap in between them. Like, under the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, we're assuming that if the guy stops with... I mean, what is the etiquette if somebody runs you over with a bus? Is it they stop halfway, like, oh my God! Or do they just follow through because obviously you're going to be in immense pain if you're under a ton of, like, metal?
I mean, I think your instinct would be to stop. I don't think you'd be thinking, unless you're literally trapped under a wheel. But I don't know. I haven't run anyone over, so...
Answers on a postcard. Yeah. Anyway, so... in regards to that sort of time, anyway, I got obsessed with food porn.
Okay.
And I'm not proud of it.
Why not?
No, because it's like I shouldn't get a gratification of seeing a poached egg that's very runny in the middle yet firm to look at. It bursting onto a piece of toast.
Yeah, but why should you be ashamed?
Traveling holiday. Huh?
Why should you be ashamed? Like it's not like you're the only one. It's not like something.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But in regards to my control, it just went down a weird rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Accidentally, I watched the chef. Well, basically, it's called The Chef. Not the film, the TV series.
Yeah.
And as a result, I just went down a wormhole of watching every single show on Netflix. So I watched Ugly Delicious, all of them are connected, by the way, because all of these guys, like, they go in each other's shows. And Seth Rogen shows up a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So Ugly Delicious, I think, not Asian Street Meat, that's another thing. You know what Asian Street Meat is?
No.
It's only the worst porno site in the world.
Okay.
Like,
Glad you know that.
Google searched it by accident.
Sure.
Only because I was watching a lot of Ugly Delicious.
Yeah.
Typed in Asian Street Meat because I thought they got to be like barbecuing it somewhere. And
sure.
It wasn't the kebab I was looking for, sir.
Sure.
Yeah, it wasn't. So anyway, so you got that. So I went down, I watched all of them, and yeah, I was fairly impressed. But one thing I will say is when you're watching them, you don't have to eat.
Yeah.
Whereas I was actually surprised. I thought it was just going to make me hungry. However, if I am talking... I mean, it's weird. Mexican food makes you hungry. If you enjoy Mexican food and you see it,
yeah,
you get instantly hungry.
Okay.
With Chinese, I don't get the same sort of effect. Korean, the same, I don't get it. But barbecue, I always get hungry when I'm watching it.
It must be down to personal preference though, right?
I don't know. I think it's down to experience when you're actually having the food. With me,
which would be down to personal preference.
No, that's down to personal perspective. Personal preference is what you prefer to have, or the way that you prefer to have it. But perspective is down to your first experience of said thing. It's the same reason why some people, if they are...
Disagree.
You don't have... Well, it's an opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, but it's not factual.
Yeah, neither is what you're saying.
No, it is.
It isn't.
Right.
You're saying
Okay,
it's down.
okay,
You're saying it's down to. You're saying it's down to personal
Tell me-
perspective. How do you know?
Tell me...
What is that based on?
Tell me, what is your favourite food?
What's my favourite food?
Yeah. And where did you have it first?
Chinese.
Chinese?
Probably, yeah.
And when did you have it first?
I don't know.
Okay, but what I'm saying in regards to perspective is that based
Yeah,
on...
you're saying it's your experience when you first have it.
Yeah.
Which makes you...
associate with a good time.
Yeah, but I don't think that's necessarily true.
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, because you'll easily get hungry. I get hungry when I have...
Yeah, that's you. You're not everyone. That's what I'm saying. It's your personal preference.
It's not a preference.
It is a preference. It is.
No, because
it
the
is.
same thing...
Yeah, but your preference might be based on that personal, that first experience or whatever. That doesn't mean that it's not correct. No, but that doesn't mean everyone's what experience is the same as yours.
Okay, I digress. Anyway,
because you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
You're definitely wrong.
I'm completely right.
You're definitely wrong.
I am right. 9,000.
Yeah, no.
So, in regards to the overall, arc of my food porn shame debacle,
yep,
I've become a better cook.
You should.
I've actually become, like, subconsciously as well, because I've been seeing these guys chop up onions and all that stuff, and I know how to hold a knife properly now. And I know how to, render sauces.
Okay.
I'm good. So Shunt will put down the challenge. I will learn more and cook more after watching horrible things. So that's one thing that came out of you not being around. So it's all good. Oh dear. But yeah. So what was the other thing? So we've covered Netflix. We've covered Terminator. We've covered. Oh yeah. Talk of the DC movies. The Snyder Cut.
What about it?
Why is it a thing?
Because people like pain and misery.
Please elaborate, sir.
I mean,
why would it be a painful experience to watch Justice League through the eyes of Zack Snyder?
Because none of the other ones were good.
I think we can actually carbon date to what was the best Zack Snyder film, or best Zack Snyder experience.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had anything good since Watchmen.
I mean, I guess it's almost not fair to say that, because
no, but it's factual.
Yeah, obviously, but I would say it's almost not fair to say that, because.
And now that Watchmen, the TV series, has come out, apparently it's meant to be 10 times better. Because they included the squid.
No. I need to see the full season before I can say whether it's better or not.
No, but these are the reviews that I've been hearing.
No, I mean, that's fair. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying, for me...
But then saying it is new content, so...
I have to see the whole thing. Like, at the moment, it's like looking at the corner of a picture with, like, a telescope. I can't see the full picture.
Yeah, you can. You just don't want to do anything illegal to watch it. Which I respect.
What are you talking about?
Just saying, you just have to get a VPN.
Yeah, but it's not finished, so I can't watch the whole thing.
Yeah, but if you signed up the way I told you.
What are you talking about? I've been watching Watchmen.
Yeah,
but it's not finished, so I can't see the whole thing. It hasn't.
So it hasn't finished in the States?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure it's on like the same week.
No, it's not.
It is.
You're a week behind.
No.
You're a week behind.
It's not.
Same thing with Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, season 4, I believe, is 2 weeks behind.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I'm right.
Check.
No.
Yeah, exactly, because you're wrong.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Good. After this, I will check, and I will tell you how wrong you are.
I'm not wrong.
In any case, even if it's a week behind, it's not finished.
Okay, fine, fair. So, Zack Snyder, I've already had my rant about him.
Have you?
Yeah, I remember. I had a rant ages ago. I've had several rants. Man of Steel, not a fan. I don't think he had that much to do with Suicide Squad, but I'm going to put that on him as well. Wonder Woman, I suppose, wasn't him, so whatevs. Batman vs.
You blame him for Suicide Squad.
Because he created a universe where all of these characters existed in this particular order.
But he didn't create any of the characters in Suicide Squad.
No, but he was the one that said, yes, these are the people that should be. Like, he was the guy in the meeting because...
Possibly. But still, even if you take those same characters, you could make a better movie. There's literally hundreds of ways you could change Suicide Squad to make a better movie. I do not blame Zack Snyder for that film.
But I do blame him for Batman vs Superman. I do blame him for
what
was Justice League. Because Joss Whedon, to me, Joss Whedon was the poor bastard that had to go and correct the problem.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting anything on him. And then Man of Steel was the most convoluted piece of nonsense I've ever seen in my whole life, which is then contradicted by Batman vs Superman, which is then even more ridiculed by fucking Justice League. Now you're saying that you want to bring out Justice League Zack Snyder's cut. I would say they already have sandpaper, they already have razor blades, and they already have toilet rolls. Why stop there?
No, I would say at this point, just do it. Just do it. Just release it as a DVD extra. Whatever. Just do it. Just shut people up. Just do it. I'm sick of hearing about it.
No, but this is the one time thing. It's the internet, and it's immediate small shock culture. To prove my point earlier.
But it's been going on for too long now.
It hasn't.
It has. Now the actors are involved. Just release it. Shut everyone up.
Don't you remember Star Wars? That little thing called Star Wars.
Which one?
The New Hope.
Yeah.
And how long it took for that to come to DVD.
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm just saying. They were saying release the cuts, release this, release that, release this, and it took ages. Ages.
For what?
For the Star Wars original trilogy to be released on DVD. Do you remember how long that was?
Which version?
The original version.
What, without the changes?
No, with both the changes and non-changes, and all the DVD extras.
That's not available. You can't get it without the changes.
No, I've got it without the changes. Yeah. It's not as part of the running film, but as part of that whole DVD box set, you can actually see what they changed, what they didn't change.
What,
Like
as separate?
Yeah, it's like a featurette.
So you can't see it as a film without the changes?
No, the film has the changes.
Yeah.
However, you can watch the featurette, which shows you what they changed.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's got nothing to do with anything.
And it actually has a hidden film on the DVD.
That doesn't have anything to do with anything. Just because that took long to release, it doesn't mean that this has to take long to release. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
doesn't matter what. The same thing with like the director's cut of Blade Runner.
Yeah, but that's different.
It's the same. It's
not different. I mean, I know because they've changed it multiple times. It's completely different. Like, he's saying he's got a cut. Like, people are saying they've seen it. People seem to want it for the good or ill. Just release it. Just shut everyone up. Like, just release it.
Will you be watching the Snyder Cut?
I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it because why would I? Why would I? Why would I watch a film from a series I'm not into? I'm not going to go out of my way.
I'm into Superman. I'm into Batman.
Yeah, I'm into the characters, but I'm not into this series. Like, this, like, iteration or this rendition of them is not for me. It was crap. So,
I mean, to be fair, there's been crap. Actually, there hasn't been any crap about Batman. This is the worst thing about Ben Affleck. He just jumps on the franchise either too early or too late.
Okay.
Like Daredevil. Yeah. Daredevil was an okay attempt.
But no, it wasn't.
No, considering the factors of the time. You know, we still haven't had any sort of like decent superhero film. It was technically better than X-Men 1. No.
Sure did.
What was the... Oh, well, apart from... We're just going to ignore Nolan's verse.
And Blade.
And Blade. We're just going to ignore that. Because obviously we had Blade Trinity. That was the...
That came out after.
Okay, fine. So Blade... Anyway, so I digress. It wasn't the worst film of that era.
I feel like it was.
Okay. You obviously haven't seen Meteor Man.
I have. Meteor Man's great.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
So you feel that Bill Cosby pointing at a plant and telling what to do is okay?
Yeah. It's fine.
Golden Lords forever, yeah? For life.
Huh?
Golden Lords for life, yeah?
Oh, Golden Lords were dope, bro.
Terrible.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
But considering that you never watched Last Dragon until recently, so...
Yeah, true.
It's like... It's night and day. For like that. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so that guy's only ever...
I enjoyed Meteor Man more than Last Dragon.
Okay, I'm just going to put it down to time and the film not actually aging that well, and the fact that you're completely ignorant to said Last Dragon, which I find impossible.
I'm not ignorant to it. I've seen it.
Bruv, you have to watch it as a 6-year-old in the 80s. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it.
Fine.
I'm going to get it.
Fine. So it's not good then.
What?
Last Dragon.
Last Dragon's excellent.
If it's only good if you're 6 in the 80s, that's very specific.
No, I'm just saying, like, when I was 6 and in the 80s...
Yeah.
I'm not disclosing my age. Waves. When I was 6 in the 80s, and I watched it for the first time, it blew me away. Because I was into my Kung Fu films, I was into my little, the martial arts stuff and all that crap. Some parents didn't let their kids watch them sort of films.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have watched those films.
Yeah.
Because the moment I saw them films, I was kicking someone's ass. It's a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy.
We know this.
So but Last Dragon, excellent film. And
it can't be that good if you're saying you have to be 6.
No. In order for you to feel that,
you have to be a 6.
In order for you,
and it has to be.
No. Because what
I
I'm
need
saying,
a time machine to go and appreciate the film.
Because what I'm saying is that for you to say that sentence, and if you were me, it's complete sacrilege.
Yeah.
Complete sacrilege of The Last Dragon.
Yeah.
And it's offensive to everybody that's actually heard that sentence. But in saying that,
I'm just saying I liked Meteor Man more. I didn't say I hated The Last Dragon.
But in saying that, I like Blank Man better than all of them.
I haven't seen Blank Man.
Have you seen? Oh my god.
He looks shit, so I didn't watch it.
It's amazing.
It's not better than Meteor Man.
Terrible. Anyway. Oh god. We talk way too much about superheroes. We should actually speak about something of substance anyway.
Like, what about did you hear about that James Dean thing?
Oh, the fact that they're going to resurrect him from the dead.
Yep.
And then put him in the film.
Yeah.
That he has no reason in being.
Yes.
So are they going to CGI old James Dean or new James Dean? Which is old James Dean on how he would look now? Or...
No, I don't think so. No.
That'd be way too much work.
It'd be how he looked.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Yeah.
But saying that, I haven't watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet, so...
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm just saying, like, whether or not it's actually feasible for Hollywood actors to be CGI'd and put in as cameos.
Who?
Apparently they do it with one character.
You sure?
I believe so.
Which character?
Not too sure. But yeah, I heard that's where they got the kind of like overall idea. It was an article already. So like those featurettes and all that stuff that I was trying to sort of back out with. But realistically, if they want to put somebody in a film with their consent or the consent of their family, I suppose is what it is. But then, are we going to go and watch concerts with Marvin Gaye and Beyonce because it's a thing? If James Dean wins a posthumous Oscar for his role that he never starred in, where does it play out?
I don't think you can't be nominated. You can't. Like you can't qualify for an Oscar if you didn't make the film. If you're not in the film.
Yeah, but you are in the film.
Yeah, but not really. You're a creation of like.
So you're saying it should go to the VX department?
I mean, if it's that good, then yeah, I guess. But I don't even think you should be able to like.
Well, this is my
like the Star Wars thing. Mm-hmm. I feel is different because it's a role that he was. He already played that role.
Okay.
What's his face?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, the one that they resurrected for Rogue One.
Cushing.
Yes. He already played that role. He was already in that film. So it's...
Let's say so was Obi-Wan Kenobi. They replaced him.
Yeah, but that's different because they already replaced him with an actor for the prequels.
Just a younger one, yeah.
Yeah. So that's completely different.
I suppose.
Like I'm talking about bringing an actor back from the dead.
That's what they're doing with James Dean.
To play a role, huh?
That's what they're doing with James Dean.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
I don't think you should. I'm not sure I'm okay with that. Like, I'm just like, nah, just
no, but that's what I'm saying. Credit where credit's due. If he didn't have his face, and he didn't have his face, basically.
Yeah.
And then that's another thing. Like, who gets in that sort of scenario, who would get the Oscar? Would it be the person?
Well, I'm saying it wouldn't qualify.
No, but this is what I'm saying. There's three factors in that whole fucking scenario. There's the person that was that person who is now dead. You also got the person that's doing the voiceover.
If they're saying Andy Serkis can't get one for playing like a CGI character, then you can't get one. Like, you can't give one to James Dean because he didn't play the role, and you can't get whoever his body double is because he's basically doing the same thing that Serkis did. Yeah.
What is it? So that's why I stand on that whole issue.
What? So it's okay, but you're just worried about who gets an Oscar?
No, I'm just saying that for when you can't get an Oscar and nobody can actually take claim for said role. Fair enough, it's a team effort. I get that.
Oscars are relevant because
I know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, in regards to awards. So
yeah, awards are relevant. Awards are relevant,
but that's what I'm saying. In that form of irrelevance, because this is my whole thing about absurdity. It's so stupid that argument's even existing, right? The fact that this guy is dead, we're using his image. Now it's up for an award. The whole film's up for an award because it's one guy's performance, which he didn't actually play.
Yeah, but that's a hypothetical of a hypothetical.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know that's going to happen, so, like, it's...
But you don't know it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but that
just imagine, you watch this film with James Dean, and his portrayal of said character is so iconic. So iconic, it becomes pop culture feed for the whole freaking, like...
Yeah, but I don't think that would happen.
Decade.
I don't think that would happen.
I don't know if it will or it won't happen, but, you know... It's what it is.
Not really, because you can't... Like, there's no way it will qualify. Absolutely no way. Like, Steven Spielberg has a problem with Netflix movies qualifying for Oscars. Even if they technically qualify, there is absolutely no way they're going to allow a fucking James Dean knockoff. It's not even a James Dean knockoff. It's
replica.
Maybe, or a fucking Frankenstein win an Oscar, or even be eligible to win an Oscar.
But
my problem is, I don't think it's okay because he's dead. Like, he's not had, he's not had a choice to be in the film or not be in the film, and like your acting performance, or like like digging down and connecting to the character, and making choices to play it like this or to play it like that. It's that's taken away. Everything is taken away from him, apart from they're using his face.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be right.
It's not. But saying that about people not using the face, as it were.
And I don't care whether his family said yes or not, because, like, fuck those people. Like, I'm sure, like, everyone has people in their family that they don't get along with. Imagine if that person now has the choice of, what your dead body's doing, or, whatever, to earn money from it. That's fucked up.
So, what do you reckon your brother's going to do if you kick it before him? I mean, I'm assuming that you're, like, going to be a little bit famous on this podcast.
Yeah.
In a grandiose sort of way.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that he'll just have your voice, like, templated, and have you say the most outlandish shit? Considering it's a sadist.
No.
No?
No.
You sure?
I mean, obviously, how can I be sure? But no, I don't think so.
Okay, fine. That's right. I don't have the same faith. I reckon I will be leased to China, to everything.
Yeah, that's wrong. You shouldn't be able to do that.
No,
like, just because
it's going to happen. But then saying that,
the thing I had a problem with, like, back in the Virgin days, with like how many post-death Johnny Cash albums there were, and it's like I feel like that's kind of fucked up.
No, but this is the thing. He done all the work because he knew he was going to die. Apparently, he was diagnosed on American. What was that series?
Maybe
American, the one that he did with Rick Rubin, American something.
Maybe.
Basically,
well, I mean, look, that's not even the point. I'm just saying, like, I had a problem with it in theory. If he said beforehand, that's a different story. But still, like, you shouldn't be able to just randomly do stuff with someone's stuff after they're dead.
I suppose. Speaking about random sort of like stuff to do when you died, as it were. Mailbag. Is anything for the mailbag?
Is there?
Just saying, is there? I mean, it does look quite full. I reckon we'll just do it in one episode. Like we'll just do all the mailbag for a month.
I'm saying no.
I'm just saying because I don't want to do it
and
at the end of
the brakes on now.
I'm just saying because I don't want to do it in the midst after I basically talked about all this current stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about these people's problems because Jared Leto Joker for Life has been sending me some weird shit. Same thing with these other guys. I mean, mainly Jared Leto Joker for Life.
Okay, look. What I will say is, we will look through said mailbag. We'll look at the ones that are still relevant, and the ones that aren't still relevant, we'll just reply back to you privately.
No, there'll be no private replies. Don't give them hope.
So what? You want to just do a show of mailbag?
One mailbag a month, and that's it. We don't do it at the end of the show anymore.
No.
Fuck's sake. Well, there isn't any mailbag that I'm going to read out today because I'm tired and I can't do it no more.
Fair enough. I don't know why you brought it up then.
I'm just saying because that's what
I'm saying.
That's what the gorillas want. The gorillas want that. So.
Huh?
The gorillas want that.
Well, you know, you can't always get what you want.
Can't. Oh, okay. I ain't singing those Rolling Stone songs. Oh yeah, nearly happened. Oof.
No one asked you to. In fact, we prefer you not.
Fair enough. Alright, and that's dumb shit for this week.
Yep.
Alright, cool. Peace out. 1.